the next thing is be obsessive and curious.
Yeah.
He was relentlessly curious. It doesn't matter what kind of thing it was. He wanted to learn it for himself. He got lost down rabbit holes all the time, and he did not care. So he always carried notebooks with him. Mm-hmm. He wrote all his thoughts down on paper, made observations about people's facial expressions in the crowds, and just like tons of stuff. And he wrote a bunch of to-do lists about stuff to learn. And here's a sample of some of the stuff that he just felt like learning. The measurement of Milan and its suburbs, which he later used because he wanted to draw it. Get the master of arithmetic to show you how to square a triangle. Ask someone how people walk on ice in Flanders. Get a master of hydraulics to teach you how to repair a lock, canal, and mill in the Lombard manner. Get the measurement of the sun, promised to him by some French person. Discover why fish are faster than birds when water is heavier and thicker than the air. And describe the tongue of a woodpecker. This isn't nearly everything, but like they have no obvious connection to the things we even know him for.
Yeah.
Like the measurement of Milan, maybe if we know he did a little bit of architecture, that lines up. But most of this is completely random if you just know him as making The Last Supper and the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Like
So
also
he's
the
just
tongue of a
super
woodpecker
curious
is
about
pretty
everything.
interesting. But yeah, he just wanted to learn everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's one of his biggest strengths.
Yeah.
So
Relentless curiosity, which is great because it gives you the ability to think laterally and to pull from many different dimensions and fields when you're maybe inventing a helicopter prototype or something.
That's one of his greatest strengths because creativity often comes from separate disciplines coming together. And
I remember reading, or I wasn't reading, I was listening to an episode of 99% Invisible about the field of biomimicry.
oh yeah,
Which is observing biological structures with the intention to integrate them into technology. So, for example, scientists who observe, or like biologists who observe dragonflies have noticed that they can basically fly in any direction. They can fly upside down, and they've started trying to replicate the design of their wings into new, like basically the next generation of helicopters.
that's a really interesting thing to mention because Leonardo also did notice that dragonfly wings were interesting. And,
Oh, really?
And like paid attention to how they worked.
Nice.
Just everything you could think of. He was like, "Why is it doing that over there?"
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. But yeah, one of the sections in here is combine art and science, imagination and intellect.
Mm-hmm.
The creative things, he combined them, and that was his strength. The Last Supper was informed by his studies on optics. He wanted the light in the room to hit the right place. He wanted to be able to, from the perspective people are going to see the painting, he wanted it to look right. So he would like, okay, so ideally they look at it from here or they're coming through this door. I want it to kind of look like that real life window is shining light into this, like it's a real room in the Last Supper. Like it was informed by studies of how the eye work and how vision works. And the Mona Lisa, her smile is informed by his many dissections of people, where he specifically tried to study and understand all of the muscles involved in the face and the lips and facial expressions. He wanted to know how they worked and why they worked. And several other paintings of his, he would upgrade it because he learned a new anatomy thing. And he'd go in and be like, actually, the connections in the neck look like this, so it should have these little parts poking out, and that'll be realistic. Like science and art for him were the same thing. Mm-hmm. And combining different disciplines is the reason that he's basically made himself into a genius.
Yeah.